Look, I thought we got outplayed in the game today, got outcoached. They did a good job. We really couldn't get a whole lot going either side of the ball offensively. We really couldn't get anything going in the run game or in the passing game. Defensively, I felt like we made too many mistakes early on in the game. I don't think we tackled as well as we needed to. And so I think for the first time this year, I felt like, we didn't play the way we're capable of playing. So I was disappointed in that. And so I think, as a coaching staff, we got to go back and look at what we need to do better to try to, improve and put our guys in better positions to be successful.
What happened, Derek?
It's a left side. That's all I really know.
Is he going to have to get more tests?
I have no idea.
What about it made it that it was clear that he had to leave the game, though, at that time?
I mean, look, the game's going on. The trainers told me he's got a left side injury and he's out. And so I haven't gotten any updates on that, guys.
Are you guys worried at all that, like, a Debo in those situations might become something that teams try to go to? It kind of felt like they went back to it after that first one was kind of close. Like, is that a trend you got to kind of...
Well, yeah, I mean, they're going to take their shots. I'm going to have to go back and look at the, tape and see, what I thought of the call and whether or not I agree with it or not. But, yeah, I mean, we got to force them to have to make completions and finish the catch. And so I think we just got to look at it and see what we can do better.
You mentioned the team not playing up to its standard. How much was that maybe the Chiefs winning in the trenches on both sides?
Yeah, probably some. I thought defensively, I thought they did a good job of controlling the line of scrimmage and made it really difficult for us to be able to run the ball. And they had some good pressure packages that gave us some problems that we needed to do a better job of picking some of those things up. I thought the biggest thing from a defensive perspective was our inability really to get Patrick Mahomes down at times when we had opportunities to. I thought he did some really unbelievable things and made some really good plays in terms of scrambling, and that was a challenge for us.
You won the coin toss and elected to receive. How big was that interception as far as just protecting?
Yeah, look, I think you certainly don't want to, start a game off that way. We had a few good plays there to start the game, and then, we throw the interception, and kind of all the momentum goes to them a little bit, and I felt like, we had some things that we liked to open up against these guys, and if we could go down and get some points and maybe get a little bit of momentum ourselves, that would be big in this game, and unfortunately it didn't work out.
Obviously, you knew with some of the offensive line injuries that you tried to get rid of the ball quickly and things like that, but what was something you hoped would be effective on offense tonight that wasn't?
Well, look, we only had 49 offensive plays and a little under 20 minutes of time of possession. So, there really wasn't a lot that we were able to kind of get done really in either phase, offense or defense. And I thought we made some uncharacteristic mistakes that we hadn't made in the first 4 weeks of the season. And so, like I said, I think that's why we got to go back and look at, what are we asking our guys to do? And make sure we're putting them in the best position to be successful.
And then there were a handful of deep shots to Shaheed and Tim that didn't connect. Was that something that was heavy in the game plan, or that was just like the best that was offered in those opportunities?
Well, I think we went into the game saying that we wanted to take some shots down the field, and we talked about, they don't give up a lot of explosives, but there's going to be a few opportunities that we've got to be able to make the moment of truth play. And, unfortunately, we weren't able to make those on some of those deep shots down the field.
It seemed like they were taking Olave away, 2 targets, 1 catch.
Yeah, look, they did some good things to try to take him away. I think I'll have to go back and look at the tape and see exactly what all they were what all they were doing. But look, they got a good team. They got a good defense. Spags does a really nice job. What they do defensively, offensively, they have some talented players on offense, and obviously they've got the engine and Pat Mahomes that makes it go. So, they played better than we did tonight.
What is the decision?
They played better than you did. That's true. Everybody's playing better than you do right now. It's been terrible for the Saints these last 3 weeks. A glimmer of hope in the second half here, but offensively, nothing to find. Olave, as you heard, only targeted twice, 1 reception for minimal yardage. Points per game, they've fallen off a cliff. Maybe water finds its level as the Saints will find some divisional football coming up.